welcome to Two for Tea with Douglas T, and today I'm joined with one of my favourite songwriters and human beings, Mr. David Scott. That's him here. Yeah. And anyway, David and I, a number of years ago, we found ourselves on Valentine's Day in Tokyo, as you do, and it inspired David to start writing a song. And then when we were home and we were in the studio in East Kilbride, we finished it off together, and here it is now. It's a song called Bogey.
Could it really be? We'll never be a we, and I'm just kidding myself on. Well, it might be true that my love for you can only find a life in these songs. Foggy, we're just friends, so don't feel bad when the evening ends, and I'll be coldly flip. I'll walk away and never turn to see. Are you looking back as I'm walking away? As I'm walking away, when all I wanna do is spend the night with you. Spend the night with you. Send that day to you in an unmarked heart, so you'll never know. You will have a clue that all I wanna do is spend my life with you. Spend my life with you, but we're so foggy. Spend my life with you, but we're so foggy. Spend my life with you. Could it really be? We'll never be all we, and I'm just kidding myself on. Well, it might be true that my love for you can only find a life in these songs, in these songs, in these songs, in these songs, in these songs.
Crying a silent tear. Yes, so David, pour you a cup of tea.
Please, very nice, yeah.
What do you take in it again? Just is it a tiny bit of milk, is that right?
It's a tiny bit of milk and a quarter white sugar, please.
Right.
It's a bit weak looking, Douglas.
Sorry about that. It was actually, I've got someone that actually makes the tea for me, and you know, I don't do that sort of thing myself, but to be honest, I don't know how...
Sugar cubes, well, I've got a method, which is, hang on a sec, I'll show you the method, right?
I should have been using
if you're watching this at home, really, this gets me through my working day. Oops. Well, do it.
Shove it in mine.
There you go,
cool.
Right,
that's good.
That's how you do it.
Teapots, we've never seemed to have found the formula for a reliable teapot that doesn't spill everywhere. Oh, you don't take milk?
I do take milk, but just
that's enough.
not a lot.
I'll put a wee bit more tea in it to balance it out. And are you having a biscuit?
I'll wait and see what the colour of that tea's like.
Oh.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, yeah, I brought a few objects that I thought might be fun for us to have a little chat about. I guess we really became friends. We'd both actually been making records for quite a while. A lot of the people that I had formed friendships with, we started making music together, but we both were sort of established as recording artists and things. But then we found a kind of bond through music that I guess we loved. And at that time, now I think a lot of people praise this stuff, but a lot of this music was dismissed, I think, by quite a lot of people or misunderstood.
Maybe so.
And one of the records that I thought kind of epitomises this.
I know what you're going to bring out here.
Well,
actually, that's not it, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you thought it was, and we'll talk about that one as well. I think you thought I was going to bring out the Beach Boys Love You.
Yes.
So I'll just put this aside for a wee bit. Yeah, we both discovered we were massive Beach Boys fans, but then the thing I think it really sealed the friendship, even beyond that, was we both loved this album, The Beach Boys Love You.
Definitely.
And yeah, maybe you would like to tell us what you see as being special and unique about that record.
Well, I think there's, a guy called David Leaf is a friend of both of ours. He's written a lot about Brian and has been a big supporter of Brian Wilson. I think sometimes he says, in some ways you need to kind of know the story to be invested in the story sometimes to sort of get the music. And I hope I'm not paraphrasing you wrong, David, if you're watching, but I think I know what he means by that, which is that there's this whole narrative around about Brian about, peaking massively in the kind of 60s with this ambitious music that ultimately was unable to see through. And then this whole Brian's Back sort of campaign that happened in the 70s. And in the middle of it were these records that weren't particularly successful, I think. I might be wrong, but that's the impression I've got. But this one, The Beach Boys Love You, which when you looked at the sleeve, again, it's this kind of very hokey sort of homespun sort of sleeve. But the magic thing for me at the time, or just later on when I discovered it, was seeing their songwriting credits, which were B. Wilson, B. Wilson, B. Wilson, B. Wilson, B. Wilson, produced by B. Wilson. And I thought, that's the kind of Beach Boys album that I've been looking for. And then when you hear it, it's so eccentric.
Yeah.
And
it's quite a surprise, I think, at first.
Oh, totally. It doesn't really sound like, not only doesn't sound like any other Beach Boys record, it doesn't really sound like any other record. And it's got this kind of incredible freshness. But the thing about it is the songs are brilliant. So the songs are absolutely stunningly beautiful melodies. Some of the lyrics are definitely inhabit that kind of naive humour thing. Others are fairly kind of classic songwriting. I'll bet he's nice.
And heart ripped.
Absolutely. So yeah, and it's one of these ones. It just kind of seemed to bridge that gap between what the establishment artists were doing and what was maybe happening with artists like Jonathan Richman that started to come up and who had a different approach to how you might write songs or even what you might write songs about. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love that record.
It was really rare to find people that did like that record, but I mean, since then we had the chance of speaking to Brian himself, and totally unprompted, we asked him what his favourite Beach Boys album was, and he said, Beach Boys Love You.
Douglas was holding a hamburger.
And we interviewed him again, and again he said the same thing again.
Oh, absolutely.
Alex Chilton, who we worked with, and we actually recorded a version of one of the songs from Beach Boys Love You. He toured with the Beach Boys. Carol Wilson taught him to play guitar. His favourite Beach Boys album, Beach Boys Love You. So yeah,
Can you tell we care?
Yeah, we really do care. But yeah, another guy who I think a lot of people would say that they were fans of, but in a sort of ironic way, which used to drive me mad, was Burt Bacharach and Hal David. And it was almost like people, it's kind of cheesy kind of music, and it's kind of, and I would go, no, it's not, it's brilliant music. And this album, but again, is almost like, I mean, it's so different than some of the Beach Boys Love You, but it's almost like one of the real, I guess, tests for, do you really love Burt Bacharach and Hal David? Well, how about this one? I mean, look at that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Package.
Yeah.
And
is it die cut you call that?
I think so. This is the soundtrack to a movie called Lost Horizon, which I think is generally considered, it's one of the biggest flops in the history of Hollywood. It's generally considered, I think, among serious film critics as being one of the worst movies ever made. And a bit like the actual package of the record. It was an incredibly lavish, expensive movie. But Bacharach and David, I thought, wrote some incredible songs for it, which, again, people, when he would talk about loving Bacharach and David, they would very rarely mention anything to do with this record.
I think there's a funny thing that sort of happened with Burt Bacharach in the 70s going on, and it's almost like he wasn't able to write the kind of really straight down the line hits at that point. I mean, he did have hits, but he wasn't churning them out, and it's almost like he got so sophisticated or something as a writer that he was exploring all this kind of possibility for his composition. And so some of the music does get in it, particularly if you listen to some of his solo records, Futures and all that, and his Woman sort of symphonic thing, they become quite serious and quite sort of almost scholarly sort of music writing, you know. And there's things on this that are probably like that, but at the same time, World is a Circle, all these kind of beautiful daft. It's kind of got it. It's got his whole kind of
it's sort of like a bridge almost between the two worlds of Bacharach. And I think he probably, after the failure of this, it probably had an effect on what he went on to do after that point. Yeah. But I mean, there's a track on it, the actual title track, Lost Horizon, which we recorded a beautiful version, I think, of with our friend Yeonjin from Korea, which now I listen to and it seems more timely than ever because of the way the world is and how difficult it can be about wanting to escape and find a place that doesn't have all these unnecessary.
And Hal was good at that, wasn't he? As a lyricist, he's able to say all these big things that you think, like Randy Newman, he says things in songs where you think, my God, why has nobody said that before? Because it's so kind of almost obvious.
And very simple, in a very simple and direct way that almost, I think, anybody from a child, you know, to, you know, some old dear living by herself who likes to go out to bingo could connect to. You know, so.
Oh, that's good to see that again.
With fans.
I do have that at home. That I've never actually seen the film, Douglas. I've got the music ingrained in me, but I've never watched the film.
I genuinely have to say, the film is flawed, but I still think it's got a lot more in it than an awful lot of modern cinema has. Okay. I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, you've got more stuff.
Next up, I brought a couple of DVDs. I'm going to pull this one out first.
Oh,
it's
my
a film
lord.
again that we both love.
Yeah.
And I would say
I've got a face to this.
One of the oddest films. I mean, it's basically a movie, an extended kind of movie of the Magic Roundabout, narrated and the English story written by Eric Thompson, but Fenella Fielding is a guest star in it, and
blue is beautiful.
Blue
is best.
What an incredible thing it is.
I know. It's amazing. It's funny, I'm laughing because my stepsons, Michael and Sean, who I love dearly, right? They are scandalised that I like that film. It's so funny. I would be putting on and chuckling away at your man's Tony Hancock impersonation as Dougal, and I just think I think that's a pretty major piece of work actually. I love it.
The songs in it as well are really odd, and again I recently discovered that two guys who I really rate, you know, Charlie Brooker's a massive fan apparently of this.
Oh, is he?
And Mark Kermode claims that he thinks it's one of the best British films ever made.
All the best people. It's a great film. I think one of the things about it as well is it does have that so often when people scale up TV programmes to movie length, Steptoe and Son's a good example of it. Dad's Army as well. Yeah, there's too much space in it, and it's like when Laurel and Hardy started doing features only, and they lost a wee bit of something doing that, you know. But it's got a really, really incredible kind of outrageous plot. Ends up interplanetary. It's got this crazy blue voice. I mean, people say psychedelic. I'm not sure if that's right. I think playful. It's more like magical realism or something to me. It's like, you know, Garcia Marquez or Italo Calvino. You know, that way where they actually just spin these stories and you just suspend your disbelief and go with it, and it's beautiful.
I think kids could really enjoy this, and I saw it first as a kid, but I think I enjoy it much more as an adult than I enjoyed it at the time as a kid, because I just think it's pretty special. So
songs are good as well.
Oh yeah, great. I have the soundtrack album somewhere as well.
Well, that's how I first experienced that, because MFP which was a kind of budget label. A lot of people remember in the 70s that put out a sort of, reasonably budget. They had the soundtrack of that on an LP. So it was obviously abridged and all that, but you put side A on and it was just, the soundtrack of it. And with voices and songs, I loved it.
Florence's song. Oh, it's a tearjerker. And another one that I always think of you, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. Billy Wilder, who's best known for films like, I guess, Some Like It Hot, Double Indemnity, The Apartment, made a Sherlock Holmes movie in 1970, the same year as Dougal and the Blue Cat. And what a movie it is.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love that film. And I would say it's the best Sherlock Holmes film.
I totally agree.
And it's also in some ways one of the most it manages to do the kind of eccentric, not quite the Holmes you imagine, but also delivers all of the kind of classic stuff as well. The scene at the end, I won't give it away, but with it, up in Scotland and all that, and the appearance of Mycroft and the Watson character is just such a brilliant portrayal of Watson. Not what you would expect, but really brilliant.
I know, it's funny because it's almost like, in some way, almost like Holmes meets kind of comic farce, but still is incredibly poignant and moving.
Unbelievable. And also, it's got that mystery. That's the thing about it. I think the best Sherlock Holmes thing, you know how obsessed I am with old Sherlock, but the best ones are the ones that retain that kind of feeling of mystery or suspension. You just think, what is going on here? And that has got that really...
Yeah, it's a big favourite of mine, and
funny enough, I was going to bring you. I think I've brought something else actually, but I was going to bring my Solar Pawns books. Do you know about Solar Pawns?
Oh yeah,
the alternative Sherlock Holmes. So there's tons of stuff out there, and it seems to be growing. I know there's a stage play at the moment. You know, so much amazing stuff anyway.
So anyway, sorry about the little frog in the throat. We'll maybe chop some of that out. I don't want to be too Hugh Green. I asked you to bring a surprise object.
Well, I did bring a surprise object.
And do you want to reveal what the surprise object is?
I feel it's not got quite the same impact as the three objects you brought, but
let's say it's just different.
I found this morning, okay, and it's the St Mungo's High School magazine from 1982. Okay. Yeah, so this is my piece. Hopefully it doesn't... It's called Boredom. So, on rainy days like these, we measure time in cups of tea.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. I never think of work and war, or what we'd like to be. So it wouldn't be a teen poem without something about war, right? Okay. With shallow souls and empty eyes, we cast shadows on drunken minds. Drunk with boredom. Right, title. Listless winds in strict order like army lines. I quite like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then to be honest with you, it loses something in the last verse. One good, a good last line, but this is a wee bit poor. In giving nothing, we conquer fear. Oh,
get your point.
Nothing to give, no one to hear. Words which are spoken to break an ice. One exciting tear. I think that's quite a good line.
One exciting tear. I think that sounds like a title. That's a title there for a song.
Quite like so yeah, there is Boredom.
I think it's great. I'm just going to top up my tea and then we'll have another wee song.
Okay.
Or a big song.
This is from the early 90s, I think, 1991 or something like that.
Golden era.
Long time. It was a golden era, yeah. When I wasn't actually releasing any records. But I wrote tons of songs, and this one was written about a couple of friends of mine who had a pretty sort of intense and short relationship, you know, that didn't really go anywhere. And I changed their names for the song. And then when you said, come and do this, I thought I better finish the story, because it only ever had two verses, so I wrote a third verse, which actually doesn't tell you any more about the story, but hey ho.
Great.
So the song's called Paco and Juwan.
Thank you.
When he met her, she was reading from Lord Byron, in the clothes of a Spanish widow gone to ground. The kind of girl who doesn't know the meaning
things the way they were found. Paco and Juwan, with a passion they could never understand. Paco and Juwan, when the clock runs out of time, their love will stand. So they lived together in this tiny basement, with 2 chairs, a table, bed, and a clock. Though their love was felt with a curious conviction, they never really worked out how to talk. They never really worked out how to talk. Paco and Juwan, with a passion they could never understand. Paco and Juwan, when the clock runs out of time, their love will stand. Well, the years put on their marching boots and vanished, and the birthday letters faded 4 to 1, and children in the streets still ran and clattered, and the night still came to steal the morning sun. The night still came to steal the morning sun. Paco and Juwan, with a passion they could never understand. Paco and Juwan, when the clock runs out of time, their love will stand. Paco and Juwan, with a passion they could never understand. Paco and Juwan, when the clock runs out of time, their love will stand.
I'm saluting you, David. That is a beauty. I hope that'll get released. I hope that'll find
one
a
of these
home.
days, one of these days, yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank the lovely David for joining me for tea, music and chat, and we're going to play out now with a little song that some of you might recognise.